Welcome to episode 14 of Central Intelligence Cinema. This intel report was actually recorded about a week ago, but the intel is still very much relevant. And I will warn you now that we get into some very potential spoilery territory regarding Mission Impossible 7. So if that's not your thing, this may be one to skip. But otherwise, hope you enjoy.
Beg your pardon, forgot to knock.
Welcome to the CIC, initiating security clearance.
My name is Napoleon Solo. Bond. James Bond.
Ethan Hunt.
Felix Leiter.
Ilya Kuryakin.
Identity confirmed.
Now, pay attention, 007.
Welcome to Central Intelligence Cinema, a podcast dedicated to spy movies and secret agent pop culture.
Your mission, should you decide to accept it.
Remember, nothing ever goes according to plan.
Tom, what do you think you're doing? Using the British handbell, sir. You expect me to talk?
Yeah, baby! Coming to you from an undisclosed location somewhere beneath a millionaire's mansion in the Colorado Rockies, it's the Central Intelligence Cinema. I'm Jason Greenberg, and with me, as always, Ben Esslinger.
Thank you, Jason, for that warm and fuzzy introduction. And welcome back to Central Intelligence Cinema. Happy weekend, everybody. It's the 21st that we're recording, just so everybody knows, just for the record.
It's important to get everything on the record so that we can redact it all later.
That's right. And I'm just right now, I'm just sort of soaking in the warm embrace of our Goldfinger episode that we just released 2 days ago. But as we all know, Intel, like time, waits for no man. So I suppose we should get into some intel and shoot the shit about that.
Let's do it.
All right.
Looking for a news story?
Impress me.
Transmitting CIC Intel dossier.
They'll print anything these days.
Okay, so the intel report. We're just about all Mission Impossible all the time on this one, man, because there was a lot of stuff that has come out in the last week and a half or so. Christopher McQuarrie's Instagram has been on fire over the past month. He's just been releasing picture after picture of all sorts of different things. So, yeah, a lot to talk about in that respect. Kind of exciting just that there's actually something coming out of somebody's camp since Bond has been quiet because of all the delays and everything. And everybody kind of knows. I feel like everybody knows everything about that movie already. I went back actually and watched the Bond trailers not too long ago, and I feel like I've practically seen the movie anyway.
Yeah, maybe some key plot points are still there to wrap everything up, but it's basically the movie's already out there.
Yeah. So anyway, getting into the Mission Impossible stuff. First of all, there's been a bunch of casting announcements. We've got, first of all, it's so great. I love that they've brought in Carrie. How do you pronounce his last name? Elwes. Carrie Elwes of Princess Bride and Robin Hood Men in Tights fame. Are you kidding me? And Stranger Things.
Yeah. I'm telling you, there has to be a sword fight in this movie. There absolutely has to be a sword fight.
If they don't put one in, they're doing themselves a disservice.
I want Tom Cruise to go, you know what? He was in the greatest sword fight there ever was in movies. I want to be in the better sword fight of every movie there ever was. So we are doing a sword fight, 25 minutes long, over 14 levels of terrain with water coming down and no lights.
Excellent. Yeah. So I just hope they give him some good dialogue. I need some.
Yeah. I hope he's not just like, an M in this movie,
Yeah. I really hope that they actually utilize him for what he offers.
Yes, for sure. Because you're wasting all that talent if you don't.
Yeah, seriously. Then we've also got Mark Gatiss, who played Mycroft in the UK Sherlock show. Mm-hmm. As well as he was in Game of Thrones. He's been in Doctor Who. He's been in everything.
Yeah, he's an English staple.
Yeah, so he'll be a good bit player of some sort, I'm sure. We've got another Game of Thrones alumni, Indira Varma. And so she was in Game of Thrones. She was in Rome. She's in the upcoming Obi-Wan series. So, yeah, so that'll be interesting to see what she does in this. We've got Charles Parnell, who was in a Transformers movie, and he's got a ton of supporting role character. I don't know too much about him. Do you know anything about him?
I don't, but it's funny because when I first read it, I thought it said Chris Parnell, and I'm like, from Saturday Night Live and Archer? I hope he plays the character he plays in Archer. That would be fabulous.
I know, right? And then this one I'm really excited for is Rob Delaney.
Yeah.
Just because he's such a funny guy. His appearance in Deadpool 2 as Peter was so good. He's just everything I've ever seen him in. He was really funny in that show Catastrophe. Have you seen that show at all?
I have not.
It's basically this show about this guy who's just traveling overseas, and it's not about it's not he's the secondary character. I would say the main star is the female in it. I forget her name, but basically they hook up for a one night stand, and then she gets pregnant, and then he decides that he wants to try and make things work because she's pregnant. And she's like ready to probably get rid of the baby altogether. But it just rolls into this mishmash of a romantic comedy weirdness thing. And that's why it's called Catastrophe, but it's
hilarity ensues.
But he's really, really good in that too. So I'm excited for that. I've seen a lot of photos on Christopher McQuarrie's feed with Pom Klementieff. She looks super badass in the photos too. Like, just they did her up with this like blonde hair, and she's got like a gun, and she looks totally badass in it. So I'm like,
so no antenna coming out of her head.
No antenna on this one. No.
Okay. It's funny. I've seen her in other movies. I think she is blonde or she goes blonde normally.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't know too much about her prior to, aside from Guardians of the Galaxy. I didn't know a whole lot.
I always tell her to my wife, I call her New Bjork.
Yeah, well, that makes sense. She's got that kind of look to her. And then, of course, we've got Haley Atwell. I was waiting for the sigh from Jason because we all know how much Jason loves Haley Atwell.
Oh, yes.
Oh, Peggy Carter.
Oh, Peggy Carter. Whither thou goest, Peggy.
So there's been a lot of behind the scenes photos that have appeared in several different publications with her and Tom Cruise in that little yellow car that's very reminiscent of the little yellow car in I believe it's Live and Let Die. Or not Live and Let Die. I'm sorry. For Your Eyes Only. Sorry.
Oh, sure. I know the car that you're speaking of.
Yes. There's a lot of photos of them in that car. And then, of course, Angela Bassett is back as the head of the CIA, or is that what she was? Or is she the head of IMF? I can't remember.
I don't know. There's been so many IMF heads. The only two I remember are Zerny and Alec Baldwin. Right.
Yeah. And then, of course, and speaking of Henry Zerny, we've of course seen photos of him pop up, and that was a big exciting moment for everyone who's a fan of the series.
But only if he's wearing a hat.
But only if he's wearing a hat and that silly trench coat. Yeah.
If they don't bring him back with that, I could care. I'd give two shits about Henry Zerny.
He really needs to wear the trench coat, though. If he doesn't, I mean, what are we even doing here?
Exactly.
And then there's been recently the pictures of Vanessa Kirby, more black and white photos. A lot of the photos that McQuarrie took on Instagram are all in black and white. I don't know. That's just his motif for sort of showing all these new characters and scenes and everything else. But anyway, they showed Vanessa Kirby on the same train that they showed a photo of Henry Zerny on, that they showed a photo of Pom Klementieff as well. A lot of photos on trains. So apparently we're going to get a lot of train scenes. Either that or that's just, I think I was listening to another podcast actually that I recently discovered.
Traitor.
I know. I do feel a bit like a traitor, but there's a podcast out there called Light the Fuse that's very Mission Impossible oriented, and they had an interview with McQuarrie, and McQuarrie actually mentioned that trains are a good place to move the plot along and gives a lot of
exposition. Gives you time for a lot of exposition because you can't go anywhere.
Right. So you're stuck on a train, so it's a good place to give a lot of exposition. so I'm wondering if that's why he included the train. I don't know. But, anyway.
Well, you can't have Henry Czerny without a train.
Exactly. I mean, he started on a train. So
exactly.
So the photo of Vanessa Kirby was originally to sort of congratulate her on her Oscar nomination, but obviously it's also doubles as saying, hey, she's back in the new movie, which is sort of a duh. Of course, you know that anyway, because I went to IMDb and she's actually listed above Tom Cruise in the credits right now. So clearly she's in the movie.
She's probably at the very beginning of the movie then, because if they probably did credits in order, if Tom Cruise wasn't
in order of appearance.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's an assumption, but who gets top billing above Tom Cruise?
Yeah, seriously.
So
well, and that makes me wonder too, if that is the case, that the order in which you see the credits on IMDb are based on order of appearance. I wonder if that means that we aren't going to see Ving Rhames until much later in the movie, because that was another thing I noticed when I was looking at IMDb is Ving Rhames is almost all the way at the bottom of the credit list. And I wasn't sure if that meant that he's not going to play a more significant role this time, or if he's just not showing up until later, if he's almost going to be like a MacGuffin where, suddenly he swoops in and saves the day in some random thing. And we didn't know that he was even,
or they use him as a Walter Payton defense. They just stick him in there as a dummy and people follow him. And then somebody else comes in and does the job. Oh, that guy's got the meats. He knows what's going on with Ethan Hunt. Follow him. So yeah. And then also McQuarrie's been pretty active on Twitter as well. He's been sort of doing this ongoing, almost like an AMA. He's just been answering people's questions on Twitter just randomly. It doesn't even matter who's asking the question. He'll just answer them. And somebody recently tweeted at him, drop the trailer already. And his response was kind of interesting. He said, I promise to tell you the minute I see one myself, which brings up something that's always irritated me about the movie industry, is I hate the fact that the people that put together trailers have nothing to do with cutting the actual movie. And so that's why you end up getting these trailers that are either A, completely misleading. Mm-hmm. But the thing is it misleading on purpose, or is it misleading because they don't know shit about the actual movie? I have heard tell, and I don't know if this is true, but I've heard tell that there are basically professional trailer editors. That's all they do.
Yeah, no, I know for sure there are, but
and so I think the intent of ones that don't necessarily tell you what's happening are because the movie studio doesn't feel that the story is going to bring in enough people in general. And so they cut a trailer that makes it look more appealing to the rest of the world.
Right. Sure.
Right. I'll tell you, the most infamous trailer that I can remember in my entire life was a trailer for Star Trek: The Motion Picture. Okay, now bear in mind, I was 8 when that trailer came out.
Right.
It looked awesome. I'm like, Star Trek and Klingons and phasers and torpedoes. And you get to the movie and everything that was in that trailer is there, but the movie is 2 hours of with about 10 minutes of pew, pew, pew.
Yeah.
That's it. And that guy was like, oh, no. We're going to cut the best part of this movie in 30 seconds and go.
Right. Yeah. So I know the trailers tend to be products of the production studios, the movie studios. They're not the babies of the directors. They're babies of the studios.
Right.
But it's always irritated me that there's that big of a disconnect that even the director of the damn movie doesn't even know whether or not the trailer's been done or where they're at in the process of putting one out.
And I would imagine certain directors, I mean, Spielberg's not going to go, yeah, you're not going to cut that. I'm going to get final approval on that too.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure it depends on who the director is, but I would assume that somebody like McQuarrie, who's kind of built a name for himself. I mean, he's certainly not as big as Spielberg, and he's more known for writing things.
Yeah, exactly. Considering that this is a tentpole and it's a franchise for Paramount, and they don't have a whole lot of those that don't involve Vulcans, you would have to be a much bigger hitter than Ralph McQuarrie to be able to get final decision on much of anything.
Or Christopher
McQuarrie.
I don't know who Ralph McQuarrie is.
Sorry, Ralph. Ralph McQuarrie, famous concept artist, created just about everything in Star Wars that you've ever known about Star Wars. But I mix them up all the time. Sorry for dissing you, Chris, even though Ralph McQuarrie was much more talented than you'll ever be in your life. But anyway, I digress. I don't think that this McQuarrie has enough hitting power behind the plate to be able to say, no, you do what I tell you to do.
Right.
If De Palma came back, he might have, if it was still 2000. I don't think even De Palma could get away with that. J.J. Abrams, however, would be like, no. Oh, I got the trailer settled. We're fine.
Yeah, J.J. would definitely step in and go,
Abrams would have been
hold on a minute.
I've got 2 teasers, 1 full trailer, and 1 extended trailer. We did them while we were editing the movie. Here you go.
Yeah.
And they're like, yes, Mr. Abrams.
So, and then also on Twitter, somebody asked him if it's difficult to not get repetitive with Ethan Hunt's story. And
which is a great question, by the way.
Yeah, it is, because I mean, especially with Mission Impossible. Well, I mean, I guess with Bond too, but Mission Impossible, it seems very narrow, the range of what, they sort of hone in on.
Right.
A lot of knock lists, a lot of like world destruction.
Well, every movie is like an episode of Mission Impossible, which was all they ever did.
Yeah. So, and he responded, just you wait, which is just sort of a generic throwaway line, but I don't know. We'll see. He mentioned something too about how like I don't have it in the notes here, but I did read something. Somebody asked him about the stunts that are going to be in this new one. And he made it sound like he was kind of beside himself with what old Tommy Boy chose to do, but we'll get to that in just a second anyway.
Sure.
I've got a list of things. I've got a list of things that I want to talk about regarding that. Oh, and then finally somebody asked him just a week ago if he's officially finished shooting MI7, and he responded with yet another black and white image, but this one of his camera, like sort of pointed at his phone camera, I'm guessing. So I guess it's not done and they're still shooting. And that's not surprising, though, just because they've had so many hiccups with the pandemic, having to kind of lock down and then start back up again. So I'm sure it's going to be a race to the finish to get that one out the door on time. So especially too, and he's simultaneously shooting shit for Top Gun too, or finishing that up, because that's supposed to be out in July, I think.
It's all right. I'm fairly certain at this point in time, Tom Cruise knows how to split himself into 3 or 4 different people. The problem is they're all just 1.5 feet tall. So they really have to use good camera angles for stuff.
Yeah, a lot of forced perspective. So, and then finally, I wanted to just, while we're talking about Mission Impossible, now, if you're somebody who has issues with spoilers or wants to know as little as possible about things as possible, you might not want to listen to this part of this podcast, but I'm assuming if you've gone down the rabbit hole this far, you're ready to go down all the way down to the bottom of the rabbit hole. So here are all the things that I have sort of compiled together that I've seen on social media regarding this new movie. So one of the things that McQuarrie posted was a shot of the desert. So we're going to have some desert scenes. I've seen there was a picture of a hand holding an injection gun. So either A, we're talking about, yet another pandemic, AKA like the, I forget what the name of the virus was that was in Mission Impossible 2. Anyway, I don't know if they're going to rebring that back or if they're just something totally different and has nothing to do with a pandemic. It was an interesting photo, and I was just trying to figure out what it was sort of implying.
They're going to inject Ethan Hunt with super soldier serum.
Ah, yes.
And then he's just going to go full Captain America on everything.
or it's like Bond smart blood.
There you go.
So they can track him wherever he goes.
Exactly. I like that even better.
Then, if you recall, I actually reposted it on our Instagram. God, it feels like almost a year ago already. A video of Tom Cruise riding a motorcycle off of this jump that's off a cliff, and then he parachutes down, which the guy is 58 years old and he's doing this shit.
Right.
It's fucking mind blowing. Like
you can't say that guy does not commit to his craft.
Seriously, I mean, I'm 47 and I have a hard time just getting out of bed in the morning. So Anyway, so whether or not that's how you actually see it in the movie, obviously, we have no idea how it's actually going to appear once they, cut it into the movie. Maybe, who knows, maybe he'll go full GoldenEye and go off the plane or go off the ramp on the motorcycle and then eventually land inside an airplane cargo bay or something.
There's no telling. The other day I watched a movie with Paul Newman in it. It's called Road to Perdition.
Mm-hmm.
It's the last screen movie he actually did. He did a lot of voiceover work.
Isn't Daniel Craig in that?
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
Sam Mendes directed it too, and it's pre James Bond, so
right.
You got to wonder. It's a Tom Hanks vehicle, but the only reason I bring it up is I've always kind of felt that Tom Cruise and Paul Newman kind of had this parallel career. I felt like Tom Cruise has kind of been the Paul Newman of our generation.
Okay. Yeah.
Right. And I mean, Paul Newman, I think, was 79 when he made that movie, maybe even in his 80s.
Okay.
And some point in time, unless Tom Cruise dies from doing some stupid stunt for a movie now, he's going to be the same age as Paul Newman. And what does that Tom Cruise look like?
Oh my God.
What does 75-year-old, 80-year-old Tom Cruise, he's still going to be acting because he doesn't know how to do anything else, really. Well, that's not true. He actually knows how to do everything. He's literally James Bond in this capacity because he can fly, he can drive race cars, he probably knows how to use every firearm in the world, disarm bombs, he can jump motorcycles with parachutes.
He knows how to skydive.
Walls. Right. I mean, so he's got all the stuff, but at some point in time, his body's going to be like, no, Tom.
See, I kind of liken him to an American Jackie Chan to a degree. I mean, granted, Jackie Chan really punished his body.
Right. But different types of movies and different types of filmmaking. But
yeah.
I mean, there are a lot of, particularly now with your Marvels and your everything else, you got a lot of actors doing a lot of their own stunts, some of them more or less to different degrees. I can't think of an actor other than maybe John Wayne, who used to be a stuntman, and Burt Reynolds, who used to be a stuntman, that committed to doing their own stunts nearly as much as Tom Cruise does.
Yeah.
If he's flying an F-18 Hornet, it's because he knows how to fly an F-18 Hornet. He may not be flying that hardware by himself. There may be some guy in the back that's flying with him.
Right.
But at the end of the day, Tom Cruise is flying that airplane because that's how Tom Cruise, he's the ultimate method actor.
Yeah.
I don't act like I know how to fly an F-14 or an F-18. I fly an F-18 or an F-14.
Right. Or a helicopter.
Or a motorcycle on a parachute. Or whatever it's called. If I need to run away from a sandstorm, damn it, I'm going to wait till a real sandstorm shows up. That's not true. But I bet you if he had known there was a sandstorm coming,
he would have planned it that way.
He would have been like, no. There's a sandstorm coming. We're going to wait. We're going to film it directly. I'm going to outrun the sandstorm.
He would. That would be the level of dedication that he would show. So in addition to the motorcycle off a cliff and parachuting, we've also seen Tom Cruise on top of a moving train, which
seen that before.
Seen that before. We've seen Tom Cruise in the tiny yellow car. We've seen Tom Cruise filming skydiving scenes.
Straight up skydiving.
Yeah, straight up skydiving. That was interesting too, because based on the video that they put, that what was it, Skydance posted that. I think their distribution. I don't know.
Yeah, that's a production company, I think.
Production company. So Skydance released that video, but it was interesting because it looked kind of like they were filming something that they were going to CG in some sort of virtual screen afterwards.
Oh,
because if when you're watching it, he's falling and the camera guy is skydiving with him and he's on his back and old Tommy Boy's facing downwards and he's moving his hands a lot. And he's moving his hands almost like he's touching a keyboard or something. So,
sure. Okay.
So I kind of feel like maybe he's using some sort of virtual keyboard or something. And that's what they were filming in that moment. I don't know.
I hope that's true because that sounds really cool.
It really kind of does. I'm kind of curious to see how that turns out. So, and then of course we've got Tom Cruise running because Tom Cruise is always running. That's just what he does.
If he's not running, it ain't a Tom Cruise movie.
And it ain't Mission Impossible.
It definitely is not Mission Impossible.
So that's all we know so far, but that's quite a bit. So
Are there any announcements on when it's supposed to drop, or is it still the same date as before?
So yeah, it releases November 19th. So that's a lot of editing and CG and everything else.
Well, I would imagine the CG people on the film haven't stopped doing their work.
Oh yeah.
That would be the thing that would slow it down the most. So if they've got the visual shots ready to go, they just need to finish the principal photography, and they should probably be able to get that cut together pretty good, I think.
Yeah. So yeah, November 19th, it's really not that far away. And
we might actually get to go see that in the theaters, Ben.
I know, that'd be crazy.
It's exciting.
I'm excited to go back to the theater. And finally, this wouldn't be an Intel report without a little bit of Bond talk.
A little bit of Bond.
Unfortunately, I've got to start it off with a little bit of sad news. Obviously, we lost Yaphet Kotto of Live and Let Die fame, as well as Alien fame. He died this past week at the age of 81, which at least, he had a good run. 81's a good run. So it was nice to see a lot of love online on the social media regarding him. There was even something from Sigourney Weaver I actually saw. She even mentioned how he was always sort of really bringing it when they were in scenes together. He really sort of challenged them to push harder and be better.
Oh yeah.
So that was nice to hear, some good words about Yaphet Kotto. On the flip side, as we're recording this today, I suppose we should say happy birthday to Timothy Dalton, who just celebrated his 75th birthday.
What?
Yeah.
75?
He's 75 today. Jeez. He looks fantastic, by the way.
He's got I'm pretty sure he and Patrick Stewart are related because they look enough alike that maybe they're cousins, but the genes on those guys.
Yeah, seriously, man. He is, oh God, it still kills me. I know that you're not a big fan of his Bond movies, but I'm a big fan of him. Yeah, exactly. As an actor, man, I just feel like it's still, every time I start thinking about Timothy Dalton, I start just getting frustrated because I feel like his run as Bond could have been so much better. Better. I've
told you, he was the wrong Bond for that time.
But he's like the perfect Bond. I'm starting.
I agree.
The longer I go on being a Bond fan, the more I think he's my favorite. Just as an actor, as Bond. The more I think about everything that he does right. In those movies, the way he portrays Bond. I love the dude. I love him.
If he'd just been able to keep going instead of Pierce Brosnan.
Yeah.
And he came in, he got into GoldenEye, he got into James Bond movies. I've said it before. Obviously, we haven't aired the broadcast where we did. But
Living Daylights is coming, I promise you.
The two Bond movies he did in the 80s were 80s action drug type movies. They were not James Bond movies.
Right.
And that's why I don't. It's not that I don't like Timothy Dalton as James Bond. Yeah. I don't like Timothy Dalton's James Bond movies because I don't feel like they're James Bond movies.
Right. The way that they were written didn't really encapsulate James Bond's.
You could have taken Sylvester Stallone or Arnold Schwarzenegger, plugged them into those roles, and they would have been the exact same movie.
Right.
They were not Bondy enough to be Bond movies. But if you'd stuck them, personally, every one of Pierce Brosnan's movies would have been 10 times better just because Timothy Dalton was was James Bond in it. You and I talked about this, I think, on the last Intel report.
Yeah.
If he had been in GoldenEye with Sean Bean, how much better the two of them would have elevated themselves.
Yeah.
Because they could actually, there would have been some serious gravitas and animosity that would have just been palpable in there. Whereas, Pierce is like, hello, I'm Pierce Brosnan. Remington Steele. Hello.
It does. I always get a lot of what if when I start thinking about this type of stuff too, because I think about, okay, well, what if Pierce Brosnan had not been shackled by the whole Remington Steele thing, and he would have taken over James Bond and did the Living Daylights.
Yep. And License to Kill. And then it crapped out.
Yeah. Well, and I wonder if they would have done License to Kill and it would have done, as poorly as License to Kill did, and then Pierce would have exited. I wonder if that would have happened, or if they would have, sort of doubled down and just kept pushing with Pierce.
Well, and then there was that legal action that happened between them, right? That kind of kept movies from producing for X amount of time. So if you'd gotten Brosnan first, and then all that other stuff happened. Maybe he signed on to another project, and then Dalton swings in, and all of a sudden he is those movies. So that's my alternate universe of James Bond, where things worked out infinitely better.
But the thing is I would argue that if Pierce took over the role first, and then all those legal troubles started swirling, and there was this big long pause, I would argue that it wouldn't be Dalton that would come in afterwards. I would argue at that point, they would have brought in somebody else entirely who was younger.
It's possible.
And here's the other thing is, I think part of the reason why maybe I like Timothy Dalton so much also is that he's clearly an independent thinker and is very thoughtful about what roles he chooses to do.
Yes.
The fact that he didn't wait around, because there was talk that they were willing to bring Dalton back for GoldenEye.
Right.
And that Dalton was the one who sort of said, well, there's been this long break. I'm just going to go do my own thing. I'm going to go do acting. I think the fact that he's got such noble intents as an actor is maybe why there's, like, for me personally, this mystique about him. And why I like him so much is that he's not just going to suck up to whoever he needs to get his next big gig. He's going to go do what he thinks is a good acting role that he can sink his teeth into.
Right. Sort of like George Lazenby, but an actual actor.
Right. Which is funny that you bring that up, because today I'm wearing my This Never Happened to the Other Fella t-shirt. Straight from George Lazenby's recently made website, where he's now selling his own merch now.
That's fantastic.
It is. He's got some cool stuff on there, actually. So,
I'll have to check that out.
Yeah.
I saw the other day, or yesterday, I think it was actually. There was some little article on something on Facebook talking about Henry Cavill possibly still coming back as James Bond, and
not a chance.
Wasn't a whole lot of substantive anything to it, but
yeah,
I really that would be fantastic if he did.
I mean, here's my thing about that. It would be fantastic. Never going to happen. It'd be fantastic if he was Bond. It's never going to happen. I just don't. I mean, maybe it will. Who knows? If it did, I'd be there. I would absolutely be there for every single chapter. But he's done too much. He's so recognizable. I think it would take a change of ownership in the Bond franchise for it to happen.
Okay.
Like, I think if somebody did come in and purchase MGM, or if somebody came in and purchased the whole shebang, like even bought Eon's half of it, then you could see somebody like Henry Cavill stepping into it. I guess I shouldn't completely rule him out. I mean, Roger Moore was a very well-known commodity when they tapped him for Bond. So it could still.
Pierce Brosnan, for that matter.
And Pierce Brosnan, yeah. So I guess it could happen. It's just, there's you know what it is? I want it so bad. I'm like, well, I want it too much, which means it's never going to happen.
Right. Well, it's funny because it feels like, I've always kind of said that I felt like Daniel Craig was a modern interpretation of the Sean Connery James Bond.
Yeah.
And so I feel like, although you're skipping the Roger Moore era, because I don't really have a Roger Moore analog per se. I guess you could say Pierce Brosnan was the Roger Moore analog of the pretty boy James Bond.
Yes, he was.
I feel like Henry Cavill would be the analog to Timothy Dalton's Bond.
Possibly.
Ruggedly handsome and good looking, but intelligent and sort of aware of what's going on without it being distracting from the plot.
Right. But Henry Cavill's got more physicality to him.
He does. And, it's required of an actor these days. It wasn't required of an actor as much in the 80s.
Yeah, it's much more necessary now.
He would be a much bulkier Bond. I can tell you that for sure.
Yeah.
Definitely a Bond who would look like he could do half of the things that he actually does.
Right.
And I agree. I mean, I would love to see it. I don't think it'll happen. Even Henry Cavill, who's not old by any stretch of the imagination, he could carry the franchise for another 10, 15 years before they bring somebody else in. Mm-hmm. But I feel like where you're going is the right thing. They're probably going to get someone who's a lesser known actor.
Probably younger.
Much, in their early 20s, kind of do a straight up reboot, see what you can cream out of that one, and just turn it until they're old and gray and bring in somebody else.
Yep. We'll see, though. I mean, it's God. I feel like things are so up in the air with Bond right now. Things are so up in the air.
Yeah, and it doesn't look like it's going to settle anytime soon. Really,
No, it really isn't. Also in Bond adjacent news, I suppose I should say, the company that does all the fundraiser, giveaway, raffle type things, Omaze, they're doing another one. This time where you can win a 5-night, 6-day stay at the GoldenEye Resort, the Jamaican resort where Ian Fleming stayed and created James Bond. And you get to stay in the Fleming Villa, which is normally $7,000 to $10,000 a night to stay there.
What the hell does it come with a stripper covered in gold?
I mean, it's crazy. So you have access to a private beach, pool, chef, butler, all the water sports, not those water sports, kids. You know the ones I'm talking about. But the proceeds go to the Orakabessa Foundation, which works to make a positive impact in the town of Orakabessa, which is where this resort is, by providing vocational training and keeping the bay healthy and creating like a positive environment for the youth that live there. So kind of a good cause, you know. And David Zaretsky of the Bond Experience recently did this great video where he gives you this virtual tour of the whole place. And probably the best part to me, which sounds mean, it sounds mean-spirited when I say this, but he says it in a very positive light. So I'm not trying to say, haha, you didn't get to do this. I'm more just saying the way that he sort of explained it. I liked what he did there is, so you get this whole virtual tour of GoldenEye. And at the very end of this video, he talks about how he was supposed to have a stay, or he was supposed to, at the very least, go visit the Fleming Villa, like get to look inside it and sort of tour it. I don't know if he was going to actually stay there or not, but
okay.
But he wasn't able to because the people that had been staying in the Fleming Villa decided to book it for several more weeks. Now, several more weeks
at $7,000 to $10,000 a night.
At $7,000 to $10,000. I mean, who is fucking staying there?
Tom Cruise.
Henry
Cavill.
Yeah. Like, holy shit, dude. But anyway.
Timothy Dalton.
Yeah, right.
The Broccolis.
So naturally, I already entered into that. I mean,
that's, makes you give a free average. Omaze is great, right?
They are. And I know someone who actually won one of those things. I think I talked about it in an early podcast of ours about the guy that got to be on the first of the first new J.J. Abrams Star Wars movies. My friend who I used to work with won that, and he got to be on set for that movie, and he got to meet J.J. Abrams, and he got a small role as a character that you can see in that movie. So
that's pretty awesome. I always do the car ones because most of them go to supporting the Peterson Auto Museum in LA, which is a fabulous. If you like cars and you're in LA, make the journey out there because it's pretty fabulous. I've been twice. Last time I went there, they had a Porsche retrospective, 3 levels of every Porsche you'd ever think of in your life. Plus there's a movie car level. I mean, it's fabulous. And I always enter every car that looks interesting. Ooh, electric powered Volkswagen Beetle. Check.
And I appreciate too that they always give you enough money to pay for the insurance for like a year on it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, I mean, they had an Audi RS6 that was on there, and I absolutely want that car. Who doesn't need a 591 horsepower station wagon?
Yeah.
Everybody does. So I slapped $100 on that one. I'm not going to lie, because the money goes to the museum, and if I win it, not only do they pay all my taxes, they give me $20,000 to register it and do whatever I need to do, because it's going to break down like the third time I drive it. So it gives me money to fix it. But I mean, Omaze has some amazing things. And if you're looking to donate money, you get a little something for giving a little something.
Yeah,
and you can pick where the money goes, and it's pretty great. So you should all check it out, whether you want to, stay at the GoldenEye Resort, or you want to get a fast car you normally couldn't afford, or whatever else. There's a lot of fun stuff on
there. Or you want to meet Naomi Harris at the premiere of No Time to Die?
Yeah, that would be Ben's one.
That one didn't work out for me so much since the movie didn't premiere yet. I mean, who knows? Maybe I'm still in the running. I have no idea.
You don't know.
Maybe they're waiting on releasing who won that one. I have no idea.
Could be.
So also in Bond news, we've got Daniel Craig was on Comic Relief the other night, reprising his role as James Bond, probably for the last time, which was kind of sort of funny. I mean, it wasn't super funny, but it was kind of funny. He's basically, you see this this cleaning lady in M's office.
Okay.
And the laptop is up, and suddenly James Bond is his face is on like a Zoom screen or whatever on the laptop, and the cleaning lady sits down and starts talking to Daniel Craig, and he's like, "I'm James Bond. I'm looking for M. Where's M?" And she's just sort of like this, chatty woman, and then it evolves into her end up being basically like Blofeld.
Oh dear!
Like she spins around, and then she's got a cat that she's petting, and it's really silly. It's not super funny. It's kind of funny, but it was kind of a 5-minute filler of my life that was fine.
Sort of like Mark Hamill being on the Muppet Show. Something you want to watch, but you maybe don't watch ever again. Right?
Exactly. You might watch it once, but you're going to forget about it in a half hour.
Exactly.
So. And then finally, this is just a personal thing. After several attempts, I finally got a PS5. I got up early in the morning and I got on the Target website and I got myself a PS5. And I got it because of the Project 007, the new game that is supposed to be made from IOI. But I will say that recently on Twitter, there was a job listing for lead game designer for that game. And I'm just like, oh, okay. Well, hopefully my PS5 still works by the time that game actually comes out.
No. That's funny because I actually got my Xbox Series X this week, too.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, they managed to snack one from GameStop 2 weeks ago. Nice. Showed up on my doorstep on Monday, and I'm like, oh.
Nice. Yeah. I did play Hitman 3 a couple days ago, which is kind of Bondian, sort of.
It's Bond adjacent. Sure.
Yeah, it's kind of secret agent-y. You're, sneaking around, killing people, getting, putting on different clothes and disguising yourself, and,
maybe there's some GoldenEye thing that you can find in the the PlayStation store that you can put on your PS5 and just go around and GoldenEye people.
Well, I know that there's a PS3 game. I don't know if it's backwards compatible that far, but there's a Daniel Craig Bond.
Oh, that was terrible, though.
I know, but I'd play it anyway.
Yeah, it's probably, if it's not free, it's probably like $5. So
right, exactly.
I think the PS5s are backwards compatible all the way to 3. So
yeah,
you might have some luck. I know I had a ton of old Star Wars games for Xbox and Xbox One that or Xbox 360 rather, that I was playing on the Xbox One. They're still available. So who knows?
Yeah.
But yeah, you're going to be waiting a while for that new James Bond game. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Maybe by the time it comes out though, Ben, they'll finally have that cross-platform deal where Xbox can play with PlayStation,
and then we can play online.
Yeah, it's like the multiplayer thing. Yeah, we could play against each other and see who the real 00 is in this operation.
Well, that is pretty much it. But as always, we're always looking for listener interaction. So, please get in touch with us. Tell us how you like the podcast, or if you have any ideas for future episodes and stuff like that. Our email is cicdeaddrop@gmail.com. Our Instagram is Central Intelligence Cinema, just separated by underscores, or on Twitter at CIC Spy Pod. And also, if you enjoy the podcast, we'd love it if you'd help us out by giving us a 5-star review on either Apple Podcasts or Spotify. We also I just registered us with Podchaser, which is another podcast review website. So if you're on there, we're on there now. So any 5-star reviews we get helps us get seen more, and then maybe our tens of listeners will turn into hundreds of listeners, hopefully at some point.
And hey, there's nothing wrong with good old fashioned word of mouth either. If you think if you have friends that like spy podcasts, tell them about us. If you have friends that like movie review podcasts, tell them about us. If you have friends who like two idiots talking with microphones for an hour and a half, we definitely qualify. So tell those friends to come listen to our podcast.
Indeed.
We're doing this because we're having fun, but we're also doing it because we hope you guys are having fun listening to us.
Indeed.
And if you think there's other people out there that are like-minded like we are, then tune them into us so they can get a bit of it and maybe generate some more ideas for us to go out and have even more fun.
Indeed. And I believe our next review is actually going to be a little bit of a Mission Impossible, actually, to go along with this.
We can answer the question from earlier in this podcast about what the virus is called, because we're going to be watching
and actually
Mission Impossible 2.
Well, and what's funny is as we were talking about it, it popped into my brain. It's Chimera. Chimera is the name of the.
So now we don't have to watch it. Good. We can go on to Winter Soldier then. Good. I'm glad. Oh wait, no, we still have to do Mission Impossible 2.
We still have to do Mission Impossible.
Okay.
I can't wait to dissect John Woo. It's going to be great.
Just from that alone, it's going to be pretty fabulous.
Yeah. Well, with that, I'm Ben.
I'm Jason.
And the CIC will return with more missions, more martinis,
and more mayhem.